Okay, and we can also send the PowerPoint presentation as a PDF so the judge can see it also. Okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Well, first of all, let me go with can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
perfect. Okay, so let me go first with the agenda. We'll start with introductions. We'll begin recording of the meeting like Aaron already mentioned. Then we will have a background of the project, previous mapping and modeling efforts in this region, rainfall records and gauge data collection that was done by AECOM, was investigated by AECOM, updated H&H modeling, floodplain result comparisons, and follow-up and next steps that we are proposing for this area, for the Hancock area. So background. The state of Texas has made flood risk reduction a priority by providing funding and technical resources to help communities better understanding and address flooding issues. The regional flood plan process identifies problem areas and develops solutions that can be incorporated into the state flood plan. Planning is the first step, and then we first identify where flooding occurs and who is impacted, and then we develop projects and strategies to reduce those flood risks. The regional flood plan also provides the information needed by the Texas Water Development Board to evaluate and prioritize projects for future funding opportunities. So this is a tool, Oralia, and that TWDB has and the state of Texas has put together to identify all the areas with flood risks. And then once you have those projects in the flood plan, there are 15 regions within Texas. We are part of Region 14. So based on these projects and the needs of each community, then TWDB, based on the funding funding amount that they have, they fund some of these projects, and especially for small communities like yours that do not have enough funding to do the projects. Here are the goals that the region has developed for Region 14. As part of Region 14, the Upper Rio Grande Regional Flood Planning Group established several long-term goals to improve flood resilience throughout the region. Some of these goals include increasing participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, community rating system, improving flood warning capabilities, expanding rainfall and stream gauge coverage. The stream gauge and rainfall coverage is to have a more and detailed understanding of flooding in the area, improving flood hazard mapping, encouraging public participation like yours. This is very important for us, having communities like yours participating on this meeting and sharing your knowledge of past flooding and future understanding of what can be done help us a lot. And then implementing better stormwater management standards. One of the most important goals of this flood plan is reducing the number of structures located within the flood-prone area over time. So at this time, Oralia, we are in cycle number 2 of the Regional Flood Plan Region 14. The first cycle was finished in 2023, and they developed, based on some preliminary and rough modeling, the amount of structures that were potentially being flooded if a 100-year event occurs. As you can see here, Fort Hancock ranked number 32 in the region, because if a 100-year event happens, 53 structures were supposed to be underwater. Okay. Again, this was done on cycle 1, and this was done with very rough modeling. It's a software called Fathom. And this cycle 2, we are trying to improve the modeling to have a better and well understanding of the damage centers that you may have in Fort Hancock. Okay, these slides present the preliminary flood inundation mapping completed during cycle 1, and the highlighted area shows a concentration of flood impacts around Fort Hancock. Okay, cycle 2. The intent of cycle 2 is to refine the previous analysis and use improved data and more detailed modeling techniques. So like I said, The original modeling was done with Fathom. Fathom didn't have all the tools that we have on new modeling that we are using for this cycle number 2. And also this model didn't have all the structures like culvert crossings, bridges. It was a very rough estimate on how many structures were impacted if a 100-year event occurs in Fort Hancock. Here are some of the FMEs and FMPs and FMSs that were identified at cycle 1. So the ones that we have are the Loma Linda floodplain analysis, the Hancock County EAPs, and the Loma Linda Desert Haven evacuation routes and Del City evacuation routes. These FMXs, that's how we call because are FMEs, FMPs, and FMSs. We are planning on reviewing them as we move forward with this stormwater master plan that we are doing for Fort Hancock. So we may add more FMPs. We may update some of the ones that you already have. So depending of what we discover is how we are going to proceed. This is the FEMA mapping that is current in the Hancock County area. And as you can see in this slide, the most recent complete effective study were completed in November 1st, 1985. This was Zone A. And I don't know if you're aware of what Zone A means. Zone A is an approximation of flooding. So it's based on the topography and local knowledge. That's how they determine the extent of or limits of flooding. So it's a very rough estimate. That's why we are doing this study, because it gives you an approximation of flooding, but doesn't give you the exact flooding limits. So now we have the Fathom modeling that is available. Like I said before, it's very rough, and there is BLE modeling that TWDB has created. BLE modeling stands for Base Level Engineering Modeling. It's a model called HEC-RAS that was developed by the Corps of Engineers. It's more accurate, and we use that model. Although TWDB, when they do this base level engineering, they do not have all the infrastructure. They don't have all the culverts, all the bridges. We use that as a baseline, and then using that information and Google Earth and some as-built that we were able to find through TxDOT, we were able to put all the infrastructure in this HEC-RAS model. This gives you a comparison of firm versus Fathom. Okay, so this is what we did. For determining if our modeling approach is okay, is all right, what we did is we study recent rainfall events that has happened in the area. So with me is Dolores Benitez, Alejandra Marco, and Adriana, who have been working on this effort. So what they have done is we found that there are 3 precipitation gauges in the area. That has been recording information since 2013. So what they did is they studied the information of the precipitation. They downloaded all the data, and they found that two big events happened. One in 2022 that was about 2.8 inches. That is similar to a 25-year event. And in 2025, there was a 2.3 inches precipitation that is about the 10-year event. So what we did is, based on this information, this precipitation, we ran the 2022 rainfall and the entire watershed that contributes into Fort Hancock. The reason for doing that is we were willing to understand the flood extent for those events. And since are very recent events, we were willing to talk with you as someone that is familiar with the Fort Hancock flooding to make sure that our results relate to what you have seen during existing conditions, because this is critical for us. We want to fully understand. We don't want to over-design or under-design. We want to be as accurate as possible to have a better understanding of what is going on in Fort Hancock and have the best solution for you, the best solution and most cost-effective solution, okay? So from these 2 events, although this is more recent, the 2025, we decided to run the 2022 since it is a bigger event and it's not that far away from 2025. So you may have recollection of this event. And Oralia, if you have questions while I'm talking, and because I know that I talk very fast, ask me, I can stop, I can rewind, and I can explain in more detail, okay?
Yes, got it, but it's pretty understandable so far.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Welcome. So again, like I was saying, the team from El Paso, that is Dolores, Alejandra, and Adriana, ran the hydrology for determining the flows that were incoming into Fort Hancock. For this, they divided, they did a refinement of the watershed boundaries, calculated time of concentration, evaluated the land use, the soil type for determining the infiltration that they may have after a rain event. They also studied, there are some dams upstream, so they have to study those dams to make sure that we fully understand how much of those dams are attenuating flows going downstream to Fort Hancock. And then with the help of HMS, that's another Corps of Engineers model, they determine the flow rates. That's the flows that are coming into Fort Hancock. Once they have those flows with HMS, they run HECRAS model. That's the other model that I was talking about that is from the Corps of Engineers, and that is for running hydraulics to determine how flows will go through Fort Hancock and inundate the area. And they ran this for the 25 and the 100-year event. The 25-year event is the one that we have records that we would like to discuss with you. And the 100-year event is because when we determine future projects for Fort Hancock, the TWDB criteria is to develop solutions for the 100-year event. That's why we did that round. Okay, so here, this is what we discovered from the 25-year event. These are the findings that our RAS model is developed. And based on what we found, on your 25-year event, you have about 54 structures, and this is very preliminary. We have still to do some filtering of the data, but should be close to what happened based on our understanding of the storm. 54 structures should have been covered or surrounded by water, and about 11 water crossings were overtop. We appreciate what you sent us last week or 2 weeks ago with all the precipitation information. I think the information that you sent was from 2021. And let me point this area. Here you see all these red dots are structures that are impacted by rainfall, okay? And the green triangles are low water crossings. Based on the information that you sent us, and let me go to the next, is this information that you sent us. So this is 5th Street and Blackfoot Road, the intersection. And here is 5th Street and I think here, yeah, here is Blackfoot and here 5th Street. So this is the area that you were presenting on those exhibits. And based on our modeling, the road is being flooded. And then there are some houses, some structures in this area that get flooded in here also. Do you have recollection, Oralia, of this event?
Yes, that's correct. That's usually where the flooding happens every time it rains.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that would actually be able to give you a lot more information would be the commissioner that's in charge of that area.
Okay.
Because he is the one that actually goes and works and is called out there whenever these types of incidents happen. So he is pretty aware of all these floodings that occur in the area.
Okay.
Um,
What we can do, you can also send the presentation to him. And if
yes,
he has we can send this. Let me go back to the other exhibit. We can send this exhibit in more detail showing this area. We can zoom this area where they have the structures instead of showing the full city of Hancock limits and this full Fort Hancock limits, sorry. And with that, he can point out if we are missing any areas from what he
yes,
has seen in the past, okay? Because that will
yes,
be also very helpful.
yes, that would work.
Okay. Then here also we saw a lot of structure. This is this will be, let me go here to Google Earth. I have it open.
And he
So
probably
here's,
has and he probably has more accurate or more recent pictures and information from
yeah,
the one I sent you. Yeah, he probably has more.
yes. And this area is also the same commissioner. All for Hancock is covered by the same commissioner.
No, actually, Fort Hancock is divided into three precincts.
Okay,
But he is the one that pretty much takes care of the whole town of the whole area. So
okay,
yeah, his road and bridge crew is the one that works in the main
okay,
town and over here in the east. So he would be able to give you more accurate information.
okay. So what we will do is we will present, let me go back to the presentation. We will send this exhibit. We will zoom this area so he can take a look, and we will
Mhm.
put that this is a 25 years 2022 event. Um, so he can see and determine if it makes sense what we are sending to him. Okay, and then we will send him also the 100-year floodplain, also zooming this area, so he can see and let us know if it makes sense. Okay.
Sounds good. Yes.
Okay. And I also have a question for you, because when you send those pictures and videos, that's again very thankful I am, because it helps us a lot. There is this one. Let me see if I can open it. Yes, here. This bridge that was washed out. Do you know the location of this bridge?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure. I
Because that
believe
will be also
I believe it's one of the arroyos there in Fort Hancock East, but I'm not too sure what the exact location is. But the commissioner would definitely be able to tell you what that is.
okay. Yeah, because here Dolores was pointing out, Dolores did most of the modeling here, that there are three arroyos that are meeting here. So there is a
Yes.
lot of flow going through here. So
Yes.
we didn't know if it was somewhere here or somewhere there. So we would like to have a better understanding of where it was. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this present a 100-year event. What will happen with Fort Hancock? If a 100-year event happened, 86 structures will be within the community extents will be inundated or surrounded by water, and 16 low water crossings will have water overtopping those roads. Okay, so if we do find projects for Fort Hancock during this stormwater master plan, we are going to design for the 100-year event and to remove houses from the floodplain, and also to alleviate flooding on those low water crossings. Some of the alternatives that we have been thinking about are detention, mostly are detention, because these are flat areas. So having channelizations, having big channels will be huge, because it's so flat, this area, that to water let move in this area, you will have a huge channel. So we're thinking about maybe having detention or levee protection. So we will be considering those alternatives, but we want to first to make sure that what we discover makes sense. And I know that you are going to send all this information to the commissioner, but based on your knowledge on what you have seen, does make sense what we are finding at our preliminary studies?
Yes, it does.
Okay, okay. So our follow-up now is we would like to um, we would like to send you the PowerPoint presentation to you so you can distribute with the judge and the commissioner that is in charge of bridges and roads and flooding. We will send you also those exhibits that will be zoomed out, so there is a more detail. And maybe we have the 25-year event. We will have not only one, it will be two exhibits to show the two big areas, to show these two areas in detail. Okay. So in that, because here you don't see too many structures. This is more like agricultural with one structure, but they are big lots. But in here you have more like a dense area. So maybe have zoom in, zoom out, zoom in this area and zoom in this area, so the commissioner can take a look and make sure that we fully understand these two particular areas, okay? Once we have your answers from the commissioner and your judge, we will keep moving forward and we will start developing projects, potential FMPs. Those are flood management projects. Those projects will be put in the regional flood plan. They will be ranked by Texas Water Development Board. And once they are developed, once a rank is developed, they will be put in the regional flood, in the flood plan, the Texas flood plan, and it will be in the ranking of all the projects that Texas has. Once you have that project there, you may be able to apply for funding if you are invited by TWDB for funding, okay? So those are the next steps that we are going to be doing. I don't know if you have any questions, Oralia.
Sounds good. Everything's pretty clear.
Okay. Okay, and then if you can find out about that bridge crossing, please let us know. And if you find any more information about flooding that you may have, I know that you, Commissioner, will send us, but if you find any other information that you find in the future, feel free to send it to us because any detail help us, okay?
Yes, I saw earlier one of the slides where it said something about wanting to find out if we had an H&H study.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so that one we are anticipating to complete one by the end of September, I believe. So it should
Who
be
is doing that? Because also that's another thing that I saw this map. Let me open this. Who has developed this?
So I believe that one is part of the ongoing study that is going on right now. That is through a grant, appropriations grant through FEMA.
Okay.
And the engineering company that is doing that is Train Associates. So they're the ones that are developing the H&H study, which we anticipate to be completed sometime pretty soon in the following month.
Okay. Yeah, if you can provide that, that will be also helpful because we can compare to our results.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, I don't have any other stuff from them, like until it's completed.
Can you send us their contact information and can we contact them?
Yes, you may contact them, and yes, I can send you their information.
Please. Okay. Yeah, because we noticed that this is not from the regional flood plan because it doesn't relate. It's kind of similar, but doesn't relate to what we have found. So we were willing to also find about this.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's all. I mean, I'll wait for your email and
Yes.
then I will talk to commissioner and to judge and I'll get you all that information you requested.
Okay, and we will send you all this information later today. It won't take too long because
Perfect.
this needs to be done by April of next year. We need to have the draft for the regional flood plan. We have plenty of time, but we want to move as fast as possible because we don't want to have any hiccup. We want to make sure that we present everything on time, okay? So we will send you all this information today so we can keep moving, okay?
Okay. You know what? I was looking at the email where I sent the information. I believe I did attach a contact list.
Okay.
Where it has other but I'll resend it. It doesn't matter. I'll resend it because it has that other entity that helped us do the flood study for DRIP as well.
Okay.
Yes, it has a contact for them, and then it does have Trey and Associates, but I'll go ahead and I'll resend that to you.
Yeah,
So Aurelia, so you have Trey and Associates that's working on the H&H study there in Fort Hancock, and then we also have HDR, right, that has also kicked off a project most recently regarding FMEs as well, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, but they are doing the EAPs, Aaron. So
Okay.
that's emergency action plan for the dams. So
Yes.
they won't be running the 100-year event. They won't be running. Although it is hydraulics, it's different from what you will see for this type of work. Okay.
Right. Right. I just want us all to be on the same page in terms of the work that's being done, right? And how it all
Okay.
sort of
Yes.
syncs together with the Texas Water Development Board. So
Okay. And
Thank you.
then, no, thank you, Aaron, for pointing out. And then, just here is the email that you sent. Let me see. I think.
I think it was a couple. It was like 2 emails that I had sent.
Yeah, I don't have the email with the contact information. So
Okay.
please, if you can send it to me, because maybe I was not part of that email,
Okay.
or
Yes.
maybe I lost it. I don't know.
I will resend it. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Oralia. Thank you, Aaron, for
thank you, everyone.
coordinating
Thank you.
this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
And please share this record. You will be able to share this recording, Aaron, with
Yes.
Casper Country. Okay,
I
perfect.
sure will. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, and we will be submitting those exhibits and the PowerPoint presentation later today, Oralia. And thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.